Hello, guys, and welcome to 21metrics podcast. I'm here today with Juhani Savonen, and we are about to talk about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, macro, and everything between. So, welcome, Juhani.
Yeah, thanks to be here again.
Awesome to see you here again. But first, don't forget to check our partner, Sicid.ai. I will add the link to our show notes. But yeah, about Bitcoin, let's go straight to the topic. So Bitcoin is now at 117k. We are now in October 1st. October. We actually, when looking this chart by material indicators, we are seeing some whale level buying. That's the brown indicator over there. So actually, like retail is selling currently, and whales are buying. So how do you see this playing out, Juhani? Do you see like or Q4 like holistically? How do you see?
I think there could be like some run in the risk assets again because we still see that the liquidity is improving in dollar side. So basically, there's more loans to be made in USA still, even though we have seen pretty high leverage numbers in the economic data. So I think there's like still upside because I would expect that all the risk assets still follow the increase of liquidity. But of course, like the on-chain data has been continuing to deteriorate, like we will show later. So I guess like it's just feels like that the risk assets have still room to go as long as the liquidity continues to increase, I would say.
Yeah, at least we have lots of like expectations about the Q4. So Q4 is this usually been very positive
Mhm.
era quarter for cryptos, but it's like it's going to like realize. So we have huge amount of people expecting that. So we'll see. But I just wrote about like whale activity. Um, on CryptoQuant. So this is my recent analysis, and if you look at like exchange whale activity, we are now seeing high level of whales moving in early Q4. So what is going on is that like exchange whale ratio has reached the value of 0.47, and we are all seeing the same on Binance here. Like the whale activity is kind of like it has two sides. So basically, when whales are entering an exchange like Binance or platform, what is going on is that they might create like selling pressure. That's like one point, but also like there might be some like rotation going on. So like stablecoin reserves on Binance are also very high currently, and they could be like rotating from stables to high beta altcoins. If you think about this Q4 seasonality, that if
Mhm.
whales are expecting some upside ahead, that might be likely, then they're like going in Binance with stable coins USDT, USDC, and then buying some assets like I don't know Solana or maybe some of the new assets like Aster or Plasma or something like that. Would you believe this, or how do you see this? Johan?
Like if they would expect like upside, I guess like they would be buying that kind of coins or hype or something like that.
Yeah,
Because if you would expect that the liquidity still drives up the markets, then I guess they would choose like really high beta alternatives compared to Bitcoin, I would say. But
yeah,
of course, because those assets tend to go move with the crypto space, so that would be also bullish for Bitcoin for sure.
yeah. So like moving, rotating into more
Because
high.
at least in this chart, it's kind of like matches the liquidity quite well. That we had this March April decline in global liquidity levels as well in my weekly data series that I generated. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like matches well the data sets that normally have, let's say, ruled which direction risk assets are going. And
yeah,
now it kind of like matches quite well with the fact that liquidity is increasing. So
yeah.
at least the direction looks like reasonable.
Yeah, agree. So lower one is the like exchange whale ratio, and the upper one is the like moving average. I calculate for it. But let's move forward. So that's about the whales. So alt season could happen in Q4 also. This another article I wrote. So yeah, as I said, Binance has lots of stable coin reserves. Do you see like altcoin happening maybe in Q4, or we also have lots of these like new tokens like
Yeah.
Aster and Plasma, which are like these new cool and sexy high beta tokens. Do you see this happening, or do we have to wait longer, or
Mm.
how do you see it?
I think like in general, like all these altcoins will perform better than Bitcoin if we really have increase in liquidity, and that's the main reason of going up.
Yeah,
So I think in general, like when we have expanding liquidity, then we tend to see these altcoin assets perform better. I think so.
yeah, yeah. And like
But
yesterday we saw this like Plasma sell off is pretty brutal. I think it's something like 60% or more.
okay.
So like there's a lot of selling pressure. Plasma has been one of these like retail favorite coins, but I think like it's very there's a lot of like venture capital backing. So venture capital bought it for maybe for some cents. Like it's very heavily backed by these investors, and what is going on right now is that they're already up like 30x, and now when like it's like publicly traded, then like they're willing to sell because they're just up so much already. So it's a bit of feels like a bit of a trap. And what Hans said just recently, that the like emission structure is a bit like skewed in a way. Or have been following the Plasma at all. I don't know if it looks that like potential for retail at least. Like there's like a lot of unlocks coming, and also for Aster here. So Aster's unlocks are actually 5th of October, so they're in just like a couple of days ahead. Then Plasma has unlocks on 25th of October. So yeah, there are a lot of unlocks coming up at least.
Upcoming, yes.
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 But like as I said, like in our We Are Big group, I think like Aster is still like they're not like directly competing even, but I think Aster is kind of like the safer bet because it's mainly backed by ZZ and Binance, and he's more like skin in the game here. So he has kind of like he has personally invested in
Mhm.
that. While the Plasma is kind of like it's just a group of venture capital guys, and I don't know, they can just like rock retail if they want. I don't know if they care that much, or
Yeah.
if they have any reputation or anything to care
Mhm.
about. I don't know. So it's different. You need to choose carefully what to buy. But we can move on to macro. So I just wanted to share this picture because in the Bitcoin scene there's a lot of talk about like bricks, and like Bitcoin being competitor to USD, but you can still see that USD is heavily dominant. So I don't see like dollar hegemony like going down at anytime soon, and actually like top.
Yeah, actually, because I think it's kind of like stronger with stable coins as well,
Yeah, yeah,
because you don't get any liquidity in euro nominated perps, for instance. Those are like really terrible.
yes.
So I think the only trading that you can do in crypto space is like dollar based anyway. So
Yeah, this is an excellent point, and I think all the dollar-based stable coins, as I said, are supporting the USD, and we have of course like USDT and USDC, and now like many smaller ones. And do we have any like Chinese stable coins? Not at least like major ones. And if you really look at this, China's national currency is pretty close to Swiss franc. So I don't know, like the USD dominance is just like everything is priced in USD, and it just seems like unmatched.
yeah, actually, but it
Yeah.
also like explains why the dollar liquidity only matters. I think
Yes.
because cryptos don't really move much with what happens with ECB, but rather what Fed does. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also explains that most of the venture capital investors in crypto space and the general institutional mass is anyways in the US. So I think
Yeah.
it's why the US dollar matters mostly for digital asset space, I would say.
Yes. So USD dominance is huge. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Let's move forward. So this about Ethereum. Actually, we can skip that. But I wanted to talk about like when you compare Bitcoin to Nasdaq and gold, we can see here that Bitcoin is the orange one, obviously, and then gold is the yellow, and then we have Ethereum as the blue one, and pink one is Nasdaq, and green one S&P. So Bitcoin right now is still very close to Nasdaq. So it's basically, if you compare it to Nasdaq, it's kind of like trading as a tech stock. And then like gold is up almost 43%, Bitcoin is 21. So how would you interpret this chart? What do you see here, Juhani?
I think Nasdaq is kind of like similar to Bitcoin in that sense that Bitcoin trades more like a, let's say, levered version of Nasdaq that has better liquidity, I would say.
Yeah.
Because you can trade it 24 hours, so it's kind of like substitute. Like actually, if you would like match the volatility levels of Bitcoin and Nasdaq, then the returns would be roughly same, or it might be that Nasdaq actually has lower risk.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, at the moment I don't feel that Bitcoin is really no, let's say, attractive asset if you compare Nasdaq to Bitcoin. Like if you would be outsider investing in choosing between, let's say, Bitcoin and let's say Nasdaq index fund, then their performance-wise it wouldn't be any different because a lot of data centers are also playing a stronger role in Nasdaq, and that leads to a situation where, because we know that from the past that Bitcoin tended to move a lot with NVIDIA and other semiconductors because you need the chips anyways to keep up the chain, right? Like the computational power. So it's kind of like makes sense that it's kind of really aligned with tech stocks, I think.
Yeah.
But that's also like the question if one wants to diversify portfolio, if one invests actually in some set of altcoins instead of Bitcoin, because then you could achieve better alpha, I think. Because Bitcoin, at least at the moment, seems to be really mature digital asset. So it might be that there's not so much upside at the moment. That's why I say like the weak on-chain data are actually pretty risky for investing in Bitcoin instead of, let's say, gold, for instance.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So so far gold has been overperforming Bitcoin a lot, and then Bitcoin goes to Nasdaq. But if you compare to with Ethereum here, they're still pretty close. Ethereum had a pretty bad spring, so it went like down almost 50% by April. But right now they're pretty correlated, so we'll see. Maybe there's going to be some kind of like a divergence in future. Um, let's see. If the out season is happening, then we might see some.
Yeah, I guess like it depends how those Ethereum-based tokens do. Like if they start to do better, then there might be a higher demand for Ethereum, right? That's kind of like at least was the main reason to see like Solana outperforming Ethereum in the past, at least.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But yeah, October it has historically been very good for Bitcoin. So especially November. So October has been positive, but especially I think we are going to see some good performance here. But let's see. Correction is always coming. I think by Q4 26 there must be a correction. Will Wood just said that Bitcoin could hypothetically drop minus 80%. So do you think Willie was trolling, or would it be possible for Bitcoin to drop 80%? How do you see it?
Like if we would see like really large drop in liquidity, I think. But that was also a question: if Bitcoin drops 80%, what happens to MSTR and these other highly levered, let's say, mining companies? Because personally, I have been like selling them in the beginning of the year because I didn't see any large upside there. Because I feel it's kind of like risky in that sense. If the support of liquidity would disappear, then there's no much floor left for most risk assets like tech stocks or crypto in that sense, right? Because we know that NVIDIA share price has mostly driven by just because the liquidity has been going into tech stocks and these high beta assets. So it just really depends on the liquidity development, right? But that I measure weekly. So if it start to drop a lot, then I would just get rid of all the altcoins and crypto, I would say.
Yeah, makes sense. But I think we can wrap this up. We have now talked for 15 minutes. Thanks a lot, Juhani, for your insights as usual. And what can I say? Towards October, let's hope that it will be positive. I hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, let's
I'm
hope so.
and buying more. So thanks, Juhani. Thanks to our viewers. See you next time.
Yeah, see you next time as well. Yeah, bye.